So the first thing I'm doing is priming the eye area with my Urban Decay Primer Potion. Now in hindsight, I actually would have used a tinted base to give me an extra barrier between my skin and the shadows, because I used pinks today and they stain, unfortunately. So the star of this tutorial is this palette here. I couldn't wait to get my hands on it. It's the Morphe x Jeffree Star Palette Collab. It's the Artistry eyeshadow palette and it looks divine. I haven't tried any products from either brand, so I'm killing two birds with one stone today. Packaging wise, it's not your typical Morphe palette. It's very Jeffree in terms of colouring anyway. Simplistic in style and like his own range, and I believe his aim with this collab was to bring, I suppose, his formula and expertise to his supporters, but at a more affordable price point through Morphe. The first shade I'm taking is called Self-Made and it's a beautiful neon pink. The pinks really stood out to me, so I figured I'd base a look around those first. It's a colourful palette, but you've definitely the ability to create neutral looks with it too, which I think a lot of people will appreciate. So I began by tapping this shadow onto the eye area. Before then, just using kind of like little circular motions and sweeping motions to blend it out. I wasn't really sure if there'd be fallout or not, so that's why I very carefully placed the shadow on the eye first. I have my base done and it's not easy to clean up neon pink fallout, so I wanted to obviously avoid that. Thankfully I didn't really have an issue with fallout. When I dipped my brush into the palette there was a small bit of kickback, but nothing major. I just tapped my brush off before I started applying the shadow to get rid of any excess. It applies and blends beautifully, very pigmented, which I love, and like I said, I had no issues with blending this shade. Moving on then to the Shadow Pink Fleece, I'm patting this down on the outer third of the lid and then I'm adding it into the crease. Now this looks very subtle on the eyes just because I'm applying it over that vibrant pink shade. It does ever so slightly deepen the pink, which was what I was going for, but I hope that it would have packed more of a punch, but it does on its own, just not layered over the previous pink shadow. Then I'm taking Mogul. This purple shade was very powdery in the pan. You'll get a lot of fallout from this shade if you aren't careful with how you apply it. I applied it in 4 light layers to build up the colour, and again, like the previous shade I was using to deepen the look, it just really couldn't be seen over the pink, not as much as I expected anyway. It did deepen the look slightly, but I added like 4 layers of shadow and I was expecting it then to be deeper. Next then I'm taking Back and I'm using this on a fluffy blending brush and I'm running around the edges of this look just to really buff out that pink, and this is actually a great transition shade for this look. Next then I'm taking Fast Lane, which is a matte black shadow. Now my focus for this look was on colour obviously, but I wanted to add some depth, so to do that without overpowering and taking from the pink, I had to work with a very small amount of black at a time. So this black is actually very pigmented. I picked up a very small amount on a pencil brush, tapped it down on the outer third, and then I'm pulling and smoking it into the shape that I want. Like the purple, I think I added maybe the black on 4 different occasions and blended in between each layer, of course. Once I've that kind of halfway across the lid, then I'm taking some concealer. And this is the L'Oreal Infallible Concealer, one of my favourites, and I'm using this to cut the crease. Now, you can actually cut the crease with the applicator from this concealer because of its shape. I find it actually makes it really easy to do, but if you don't have this concealer or find the applicator too large for that, go in with a C-shaped synthetic brush. All you have to do is tap the concealer along the crease, let the shape of the brush do all the work for you. I'm just tapping my way along the crease until I'm happy, and then because we had shadow on the lid, it's going to tint the concealer, so once I have my shape down, I'm adding some more concealer just to brighten back up that lid area. Next then, I'm taking that deep purple shade again on a small flat brush, and I'm using the shape of my brush to my advantage and pressing it along the line where I've cut the crease to add some further definition. Now I'm taking some black on a pencil brush and I'm smoking this along the crease line. I'm blending this very gradually across the crease first, and then I'm going back in with the brush that's more precise, picking up some more of that black and then patting it in the deepest part of my crease along the edge that we've carved out. So then we've got a nice gradient from black to purple to pink. Similar to the gradient in the crease, I want that on the lid, so I'm taking that dark purple and laying it down next to the black, overlapping it with the black ever so slightly, just tapping and wriggling my brush so that I can apply and blend with the one brush. Then I'm moving on to Don't Know Her, which is a gorgeous metallic-y pinky purple shade. I'm using a C-shaped brush to pat this down onto the lid next to the purple, and I've changed my brush because I'll have less of a chance of fallout with a flat C-shaped brush. I can pack this metallic shadow on the lid. If I used a fluffy blending brush when applying and blending, those particles could could have kind of dropped down onto the face, and obviously I don't want that. Then I'm taking 2, which is a Frosty Pink, and I'm adding this to the remaining part of my lid. I used all my shadows dry and was really impressed with the payoff of the metallic shadows in particular. They really popped without a setting spray or water. Once I've coated that part of the lid, I'm taking then the shade Welcome. It's a gorgeous icy white, and I'm using a small dense brush to add this around the tear duct as my inner corner highlight, and it's beaming. I'd actually use this on the face too, and I'm not wearing tan in particular because I think it'd be so flattering. Moving on to the lower lash line now, I'm patting that neon pink down along here, and my god, I love this shade. It's just so vibrant, and it really surprised me that there was no fallout with this shade. Then I'm taking the purple, and I actually just stopped trying with this shade because it was pretty much non-existent. It didn't really alter the colour of the pink, not too much at all. So I just decided to go straight in with the black. I started patting this along the lower lash line with an angled brush. Again, gradually working my way from outer to inner corner, and I just started pulling this shade downwards to blend it out. Then I'm using one of the liners from the Urban Decay Game of Thrones collection. It's called Dragon Smoke, and it's such an unusual eyeliner. It's dark, kind of like a black, but it has metallic blue and red reflex in it, which can actually be seen on the waterline. Then I added some of the Sosu lashes in the style Dubai. They're exclusive to Pennies and are cheap and cheerful. And then I just added some mascara, and that's it. So yeah, overall now I have to say, for the price point and the quality of the shadows, it's definitely a thumbs up from me so far. I still have to create a few more looks with the palette just to see how all of the shadows perform. But yeah, very, very positive, and I'm looking forward to giving it another go.